I always watched movies and kind of just got inspired by these different actors and how they were able to affect me. Because I mean, I'm an emotional guy. I'm emotionally aware, all you ladies out there.
Welcome to the Opposite Ends podcast.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Welcome.
Hey guys, welcome to Opposite Ends. I'm Jaibir. I'm a 24-year-old tech entrepreneur, and now I guess I'm also a podcaster. And I'm with Joseph.
Wow. Yeah, I am Joseph Baena. I'm many things. I'm all over the place, kind of a man with quite a few talents, I guess. No, it's kind of douchey to say, but yeah, I'm an actor. I'm a real estate guru. I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't want to say guru just
already
yet. No, I'm too young to be a guru. And I DJ on the weekends. So just man of many trades.
That's true. So this podcast is called Opposite Ends because firstly, Joe and I come from opposite ends of the world. I'm from India and he's from here, California.
Yeah.
And you want to touch upon the next thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically what we want to do here is kind of motivate, inspire, and bring a new sense of education to the podcast world. And this could be for anyone in any stage of life. I know that when I graduated college, that I had a sense of feeling lost and not having a purpose. And that mostly came from not having a career, not having a goal or a dream, something to strive for, which through applying at different jobs and working at different places, I ended up figuring out that I wanted to do real estate. I wanted to do acting and all these different things. So this is for the people that are kind of in that lost area.
Right.
But it's really for anyone. But anyways, we want to bring people on, get guests on here to basically discuss their life story. Not just the life story, but mostly their career path and how they came from one end to the other, the complete opposite ends. So we're going to be talking about how they started off with each career, what they learned, what was it that really clicked for them that made that career path the path that they wanted to take, and if they took another one, what was it that kind of changed their mind. So we kind of want to unravel that and really kind of motivate people to and inspire people to kind of get going and to hear what it was like for other people when they're at this opposite end from where they're at now.
So you said you want to become an actor. How did you find your passion for acting?
Yeah, well, so I've been taking acting classes for quite a few years now. And really, it was always a childhood dream of mine to get into acting. I always watched movies and kind of just got inspired by these different actors and how they were able to affect me. Because, I mean, I'm an emotional guy. I'm emotionally aware, all you ladies out there. Yeah, I'm emotionally aware. And when I would watch these movies and it would affect me in a certain way, it inspired me and kind of made me feel like, man, I really want to do that. And this was at a super young age. But going through high school, you go through that weird transition phase, where you're like, oh, what's my life? What am I doing? Who am I? My body's changing so drastically. What's happening? And so I kind of had the mentality of like, well, acting's not realistic.
So you gave it up or what, for a couple of years? Or?
Yeah, I gave it up and I was just like, well, acting's not realistic. So what's realistic and something that I should do that's going to kind of put me on a stable income? And it was all about the income, what's going to put me on a stable income? What's going to make my family proud?
What's going to pay your bills?
What's going to pay my bills? Yeah, what's going to pay my bills, really? But yeah, so then, which led me to go to Pepperdine. it was like a both. I went to Pepperdine mostly because of the Christian aspect, but also because of the business school that they had, which is, it's highly ranked, I guess. And so that going to Pepperdine, I'm taking all these business classes, switching my majors here and there within the business realm, but there was a point where I studied abroad, and there was a point where I climbed a mountain, actually. I went to Lausanne, Switzerland. I lived in Lausanne, Switzerland for a year. And great opportunity, great program, learned a lot. But the moment that I climbed in the Alps with my lederhosen, it was like a goal of mine for some reason. But I got to the top of the mountain, I was like, man, I had this revelation where, like, why am I going to let my dreams be dreams? Kind of like Shia LaBeouf said, don't let your dreams be dreams. So I thought about it, and I was like, man, people are doing so many different things with their lives, and anything is really possible. Why do I have to choose something that's quote unquote realistic, And I think that's something that a lot of teenagers and people in general, they always think like, well, something has to be realistic. Well, it's because they're afraid of failure. And I was afraid of failure. So I said, well, let's freaking go for it. And then, I got back into acting classes, started taking that, started auditioning I waited until after college, and I graduated. Then I started auditioning again.
And now you have a movie coming out.
Yeah, well, I graduated 2019, and I was like, this was the hardest part. Was I graduated and I said to myself, I am going to get into a film right away. I'm going to just audition, go all out, and do nothing else. And I did that, and it was like a slap to the face. It's because it's not easy. I thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't easy at all. So it took a little while, got into real estate, and then finally last year, I got a small role on this movie called The Chariot. This year, 2021. Yeah, this was in February of 2021. I got a small role, like really small role, and the director saw how I kind of like interpreted this small role and kind of just had this screen presence, and he recommended me to another director, which didn't end up working out, but it kind of like built this momentum for me mentally, and my ego started coming up. Not my ego, my what's another word for ego? My morale, I guess. Okay. My mojo was going up.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, back to your question. Yeah, I just got done filming a film called Lava, which I'm really excited for. It's a horror thriller based in Hawaii, based around Hawaiian folklore, and it is also going to be on the blockchain.
Like everything is nowadays.
Yeah, like everything is nowadays.
And are you playing the lead?
I am playing the lead. Yeah, so it's my first lead, and so this is great. And I have another film coming. Actually, a couple films coming up that we're going to be shooting next year. So
this is all because you climbed that mountain back in Switzerland, right?
That is part of it. Yeah, that is it's just like the small detail that I like to add. That I was in my lederhosen and everything changed.
But that's good.
Yeah. Well, what made you get into tech?
Okay, so I came here to study at Pepperdine.
Right. If nobody knows, we both went to Pepperdine together. He was a grade under me.
Under you, yeah.
Yeah, I graduated 2019. He graduated 2020. But we never hung out.
Yeah.
Ever. I think he didn't like me at the time, but
you were in Switzerland climbing mountains.
Yeah,
I was
that's
in
what
Malibu.
it was.
No, but yeah, so I came here to study media, and then my plan was to get a job at a production company, and senior year, I got the job that I always wanted at Netflix, and I was super excited. And then the pandemic hit, so I had to go back home to India, and that was probably the lowest part of my life because everything I'd worked for these last 4 years, worked towards that job, just disappeared in like overnight. And I went back, and that was probably when I was at my lowest end, and I met a friend, and we decided to start a tech company together. And we didn't know what we were doing at first. We do background checks for companies at the time of hire using intelligence and machine learning. And it's been almost 2 years, and we made it pretty successful.
Wait, so what was the dream job at Netflix?
I wanted to work in production. Work.
And you had the job?
Yeah. So I've been working on film sets for the last 4 years.
Right.
I worked on a couple of film sets back home, Hollywood productions back home, through this company called India Take One Productions. I was working at, in the line production department. And so that was the dream job to, work at Netflix in Los Angeles on big productions.
Right.
And that had happened. And then the pandemic hit. So all that went to shit overnight.
The damn pandemic.
Exactly. But yeah, it all worked out because I went home and I started my tech company, and it's doing super well, and I've never been happier before. And
so the tech company is so explain it again.
Okay, so we do background checks for companies at the time when they hire people. So if I explain it in a technical point of view, we have an API integration, which is an application programming interface with other companies' HRMS systems. So, okay, in simple English, whenever someone hires someone, we do their background check, their criminal history, their ID verification, and then once we verify them, then they get hired.
See, it's always so bizarre to me how people think of these things, because it's like, yeah, obviously that's so useful and that's so necessary for any company really to get the background check. But who I would never think of let's start a company.
I'll tell you why.
Where
So I was in an Uber in India, and one thing really caught my mind. I'm like, how do I know if the guy that the guy who's driving me is verified? Does he have any criminal cases in him? I don't know. Because out here in America, they tell you that every driver has been verified. And I was like, wait a second. I don't think these drivers are verified. That's not safe, especially for women, right? So I was like, okay, I went back to my friend and I was like, I think there's an opportunity here. Maybe we can provide a background verification product to companies like Uber and, other rideshare companies or any company which has a B2C aspect. And that's how we started. And it took us 6 months to probably figure out how to make the systems and the algorithms. And once we did that, it was another 6 months of rejection because no one believed that what we were selling would work. I mean, we were selling a criminal check or a criminal verification in 5 seconds, which had never been done before in the country. The normal average time was 10 days for a criminal check, and we were giving it in 5 seconds. So it was too good to be true. But then we got a big client. I don't want to name the company, but we got one of the biggest companies in the world as our client, and from there it just
skyrocketed.
Yeah, it just skyrocketed, and it's been almost 2 years. And
so before that client joined you guys, or I guess started working with you guys, it was just lots of rejection of so no one believed in you guys, or
I guess, we were two 22-year-old kids in the middle of a pandemic in a third world country trying to sell a product that was way too ahead of its time. So no one really, we had no business experience. I just graduated, so had my friend and my other friend. We had 3 co-founders. And they were like, how are you going to pull this off? And we were like, we've already pulled it off. Can you just try our product out?
Yeah, and that's crazy. Yeah, because
also, Joe, we were going against really big companies like Deloitte and KPMG. These companies sell background check tools. So here, that 22-year-old kids running around promising that we have a better product than a Deloitte or a KPMG. But how do we prove that? So it was a bunch of rejection, but that's with every business, or even with acting. I'm sure you've experienced it. No one just it never happens overnight unless you're Mark Zuckerberg and you create Facebook in your dorm room, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, that didn't even happen overnight. So,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, nothing really happens overnight. It takes a lot. But man, I'm sure that was tough with all the rejection. But that's like where you get hungry. But also how you came up with the idea for this company is so relatable, because I also think, I mean, I ride in Ubers all the time, and you know, you're tired and you fall asleep in the car, and you're like, who's to say like I'm not gonna wake up somewhere else? Like, but yeah, for girls it's like
Exactly.
it could be so dangerous. I know so many of my girlfriends are like girlfriends anyways, they're also afraid to ride alone.
Yeah.
And I get it, you know, because there's always stories, there's always horror stories. So that's really that's something else.
I mean, it's crazy to think when Uber started, people rejected the idea because no one was going to sit in a strange person's car. You don't know the person. Why are you going to sit in their car? But I mean, now we don't even think twice. We call the Uber and we sit in the car. We don't know who the person is. It could be anyone, right?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the biggest motivations for me and my company, that, you know, I thought if I could make it even 10% safer, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get a lot of guests on here.
Yeah.
And you know, we have a lot of guys already, and women and people of all everything are ready to go, and they're all committed to this, and so we're ready to go. Ready to get people on here to inspire, to motivate.
So I guess that's what this is all about. We really want to inspire people and you know, have people from all fields of life.
Well, I even want to get inspired. You know, I'm at where I feel like it's safe to say that we had just come from one of our opposite ends, and we're on our way to the next end. Right? So you know, yours getting taken away from your dream job at Netflix, and you know, sent back to India, and mine is like being lost and not having, you know, all the rejections from acting right after graduation, kind of not having anything. So we're on our way up, and hopefully one of our guests can give us some insight of how to keep going.
Hopefully all of them.
Yeah, I think all of them.
Everyone has something to share.
Well, yeah. So this is episode 1 of Opposite Ends, and we are so glad that you're here with us today.
And we're going to drop an episode every week on Mondays, and they're going to be on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts or wherever you watch your podcasts. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time and next week. Thank you.
And any guests that you really want to hear about, shoot them our way. Just let us a little DM at Opposite Ends on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be everywhere. But, I mean, everywhere as in Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. We're all over the place. So shoot us a DM. We'll try to reach out to whoever you want to hear on the podcast. And, yeah, enjoy your
week. Thank you.
Everywhere. Exactly.
Peace.